Hey guys, before I start the podcast, a quick introduction. My name is Warnith and I'm the founder of Pet Axel Marketing. Pet Axel Marketing is a marketing agency that specifically works with pet businesses. Over the years, we have worked with pet food brand, pet relocation businesses, pet SaaS companies, pet clothing brand, cat food businesses, dog grooming services, and many other product and service-based pet businesses globally. Our services includes everything from creating graphics to running your ad campaign. Not only that, we have built amazing websites and apps for pet businesses. So if you have a pet business and would like us to help grow it, click on the first link in the description to book a call with our team. Now enjoy the podcast. Hey guys, welcome back to Pet Brand Podcast, the show where we explore the innovative minds and ideas shaping the pet industry. I'm your host, Varnit, and today we have a truly special guest, someone whose work has transformed the way pets experience sounds and calm in their daily life. Joining us is Janet Marlow, a globally recognized composer, sound behaviorist, and the visionary behind Pet Acoustics. For over 2 decades, Janet has pioneered species-specific music that helps pets relax, heal, and thrive. From dogs and cats to birds and even rabbits, her work has reached millions of pets across the world and earned recognition on platforms like Animal Planet, Good Morning America, and CNBC. In today's episode, we are going to dive into Janet's journey, the science behind pet acoustics, and how sound therapy is revolutionizing pet wellness. So, if you're a pet parent, veterinarian, or just some passionate about animal care, you don't want to miss this. Janet, welcome to the Pet Brand Podcast. It's such a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much, Varnit. I really appreciate being here and have the opportunity to share my information with your audience.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. So yeah, let's get started. I would love to hear the story behind Pet Acoustics. Can you tell us about your journey and how it all began?
Sure. I've been doing this a long time for animals, but previously
Yeah,
I was a jazz recording artist
yeah.
um, and fifth generation musician and
Mm-hmm.
composer. So music is in my soul, it's in my
Mm-hmm.
bloodstream, and I was always looking for animals on the street. People in when I grew up, there were no animal shelters, there were no special organizations, so there were like
Mm-hmm.
lots of kittens, and I would pick up the kittens and bring them home, and my mother would say, "Out." But I was always uh, empathetic and compassionate about animals
Mm-hmm.
because music is a language that animals understand.
Okay.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I always find it not to go into a different tangent, but it fascinates me that all across the world, people's different languages um, animals in India, they understand your language, and animals in Spain, they speak Spanish. So it's the tone, the volumes, and the frequencies that animals respond to. So transitioned was that I had a wonderful cat named Osborne, and when I practiced for performances,
Mm-hmm.
um, dogs and my cats would come to my side.
Wow.
And it wasn't just that they were listening to the music, but they went into some deep mus muscle relaxation.
Mm-hmm.
And he was got injured, and I took him to the vet, and I went to sing to him for 5 days while he was in the ICU. And unfortunately, he passed.
No.
And after he passed, I could not stop asking myself questions like, well, what is it about their hearing? What is it about music? What is it about sound? Why is this so profound for an animal? And I did research. And over 3 years, I actually transitioned out of being a recording artist performer
Mm-hmm.
into being a researcher for music and sound for animals. And in 2009, I established Pet Acoustics, but beforehand, I was handing out cassettes and CDs. So I've been in it a long time, but
Uh-huh.
joyously. And yeah, that was how I journeyed into Pet Acoustics. And then once I had the umbrella of Pet Acoustics,
Mm-hmm.
um, I invented products that could house my frequency-based music. So as a composer, once the digital age hit,
Yeah.
it opened up everything to me. And I realized I didn't want to compose music like I did for humans because that
Mm.
has broad spectrum of sound. That those are the
Yeah.
highs and the lows and the
Yeah.
intensities. That's
Mm-hmm.
what moves us.
Mm.
But for animal, they don't want that. They need that sense of safety and connectedness in their environment so that they can release their muscle tension because they rest up to 10 hours a day.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
their their natural wild um, rhythm of life, so that in the wild they would have to rest in order to be able to hunt.
Mm.
So they continue that in our lives. Yeah. So the species specific music came through being a composer and using digital modification to alter the frequency content of the music to fit the hearing of a dog and then to fit the hearing of a cat, which
Mm.
hears uh, 3 times more than we do. I'll just show you a quick chart um, because it's very important for people to understand how animals hear and what it is about sound that triggers their behavior. So this little box here is
Mm.
human hearing,
Yeah.
right? 20 to 20,000 hertz.
Mm-hmm.
This is equine hearing. Equine hearing. Dogs hear twice as much as we do.
Mm.
This is cat hearing, feline hearing, 3 times more than humans. But the point is that this register up here, where
Mm.
there's a white space, for
Mm-hmm.
us is where animals are hearing high and low frequencies.
Mm-hmm.
So we're we're living with our pets, but they're experiencing our lives with
Yeah.
sound in
Mm.
ways that we're not hearing. And so that's where Pet Acoustics comes in,
Wow.
is to provide a sound environment that is accommodates this upper register and lower register so that they are not
Mm-hmm.
triggered by ultra high and sub low frequencies. So back to the digital, what I do is I eliminate those those sounds and um,
Mm.
it's a very lengthy process. It's
Yeah.
not
It sounds
frequency.
like that.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
and it's uh I feel like I'm the voice of the
Mm.
ears of animals because
Mm.
I understand through my research what
Mm-hmm.
it is that they need. And so for Pet Acoustics just provides the products that all you have to do is charge it and turn it on. And
Mm.
I've done the work. Pet Acoustics has done the work. And it's an easy tools because we need easy tools for animals that's non-invasive for them
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
calm and behavioral balance.
Uh-huh. And it is just so unique. Like, is there anyone in the industry, pet industry, doing this like what you are doing?
My frequency-based species-specific music is proprietary.
Mm-hmm.
I know other companies have done, kind of other aspects of it. But the truth of it is that the music that I've installed into my products
Yeah.
have been biometrically proven.
Yeah.
So we work with a company called Pet Pace, and they make a biometric collar.
Mm.
Uh, Very easy. You just put it on, and it determines, for example, for a dog, it'll determine their pulse rate, their HRV, their activity level, what
Mm-hmm.
temperature they are,
Mm-hmm.
um, and all the stress factors. We just finished a very important study
Mm-hmm.
through the prompting of Dr. Temple Grandin, who called me and said, Janet, you need to do a study proving that classical music is not the end all for dogs for balance of behavior and releasing stress.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of on the way. I'm a little ahead of the world in terms of
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
what's available. And, I'm all for anything that helps an animal. I'm for everything that can help an animal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
But what I do is I provide the ultimate um, researched, biometrically proven music. So it's not a YouTube channel. Um,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
to call Bach and Mozart a therapy for an animal
Mm-hmm.
is not really proven because I'm fifth generation classical musician
Yes.
and they did not write music for animals. So
Mm-hmm.
um so again it's all good. So um up to here. Take it away.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And starting something as unique as Pet Acoustic must have come with its own set of challenges, right? So what were the some of the early hurdles you faced in the journey?
Everything you begin is a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's the passion for it that fuels overcoming challenges. And the more you overcome challenges, the more refined your mission is. And so I uh, had no idea what I was doing in terms of a business because I was a recording artist
Yeah.
and a
Uh-huh.
touring artist, and I
Mm-hmm.
had to learn business.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I kind of had to build the boat
Mm-hmm.
um, in terms of the composing and everything else. That was what I wanted to get into,
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, that was a challenge learning how to do business and how to convince people
Mm-hmm.
because in the
Convey your idea to them, basically, you know,
yeah,
tell
I
them
have
the.
a
Mhm.
great little story. I was I did a I did a concert and some guy was backstage and there was a big reception and he drove trucks for a living. Great guy. And he said to me, you know, and I was explaining to him about my music. Um, and he said, you know, I didn't think anything about it, but, you know, I turned it on and I bring my Chihuahua with me everywhere I go across the country in my truck, and I
Mhm.
bring your music. And I couldn't believe how
Mm.
relaxed
Okay.
and happy my beautiful dog. I mean, the guy was big, you know, and little
Yeah.
Chihuahua. The imagery was great.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, just convincing people, convincing veterinarians early in,
Mhm.
you know, in the early
Yeah.
like 1997 to say, hey, you know, put this music on
Yeah.
and ICU so that your animals can heal faster.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, that was a challenge. Now in 2024, going to 2025, many veterinarians, many facilities use my music for
Wow.
in the exam rooms,
Mhm.
pre-surgery, during surgery, post-surgery, in the kennels, in the cattery, for euthanasia, for transition of life. I mean, music is a power. We
Mhm.
know that.
Mhm.
We know as humans. And I've been spending 20 years trying to underscore how important um, the power of music is for animals. Power of
Mhm.
sound. Power of sound.
Mhm.
Sound is made up of
Definitely. Mhm.
tone, frequency, and volume, and it's around
Mhm.
us all the time.
Definitely. And I
It's
read that
so,
your music can also like help cholesterol levels in pets. So like how does this contribute to their overall sense of calm and well-being?
yes. So you're talking about cortisol, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Cortisol levels,
Yeah, yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So in 2017, I was contacted by the University of Lublin in Poland, and they
Mhm.
wanted to do a 2-year study utilizing 120 Arabian racehorses, which is what the study was granted to them to do.
Mhm. Mhm.
And they wanted to use my speaker system and my Pet Tunes equine music. That's just what it looks like in the box. Pet Tunes
Okay.
equine.
Okay.
Uh, and I love horses, and horses are rhythmic creatures.
Mm.
Uh, so they walk in 2/4, 3/4, and 4/4 time, perfect for a composer.
Yeah.
So anyway, they used this music, and half the group didn't have the music, half the
Mhm.
group did, and the group that did were had lowered cortisol levels. So they did blood testing, saliva testing for the
Mhm.
horses.
Mhm.
And the perk was they won more races. just by being balanced, fit, and relaxed.
Yeah.
So the Arabian racehorses won more races.
Hmm.
Uh, it's very exciting. That study is published and peer reviewed in the International Animal Health Journal.
Wow. Wow. Amazing. And talking more about the features and benefit of your products, your pet tune speakers are definitely very popular. So what sets them apart from regular calming music that's already out there in the market?
Excellent question.
Mm-hmm.
So, uh, to have, so think of the different generations that music um, goes through. Like in the old days, I'm really
No, no, keep going.
putting myself, but when we
Mm-hmm.
had LPs,
Mm-hmm.
the presence of the reproduction of sound was very vibrant and very close to what happened in the recording studio. Then we moved to cassettes. Oh, that was really bad because as soon as you put it into a CD player or a cassette player,
Mm-hmm.
the white noise factor was like unbelievable. It was
Mm-hmm.
just like, here's the music, and then shh.
Okay.
Then you put it into CDs, so you have MP3 players. Now you're cutting off a lot of depth of sound. It puts sound in a very small bandwidth.
Mm-hmm.
So I truly believe that putting it into a speaker. So here's my one of my speakers,
Oh.
which has very high quality,
Mm-hmm.
and putting it into an SD card near the pet is really what does it. It's the presence of sound
Mm-hmm.
that that has, sound music is a substance that
Yeah.
pushes the air. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and this is what animals feel so beautifully in their bodies. They feel good sound and not such good sound, like thunderstorms and fireworks. So their
Yeah.
body respond um, in fight or flight.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so if you give them a reason not to fight, not to have that hypervigilance and muscle tension to go and move away
Mm-hmm.
from sound, then you maintain health. And so having the music near the pet is a really important factor about pet acoustics. So again, um, having it on a YouTube channel, all of these sound
Yeah.
vehicles
Yeah. Yeah.
dissipate the potency of what the intention of
Mm-hmm.
music is.
Mm-hmm.
And people, humans make that judgment. They say, "Oh, it relaxes me, it must relax my pet."
Yeah. Yeah.
So, always question source.
Mm-hmm.
That is not necessarily true.
Mm-hmm.
And um, one of the, uh, I think one of the most important contributions I'm making to the pet world is that I developed the first digital pet hearing test,
Yeah.
which is free and available on the Pet Acoustics website.
Okay. Okay.
And I say that to kind of transition to what I just said, because humans don't have great hearing.
Mhm.
We may not hear what our pet is hearing,
Mm.
uh,
Yeah.
and we can only make that observation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and our hearing and pet hearing parallel each other. I don't know how to do this with two hands, but they start off great, with high, mid, and low frequencies, and then as we age, it goes down
Yeah.
to not hearing, partial hearing, maybe
Mm-hmm.
low frequency hearing, mid frequency hearing, definitely not high frequency hearing.
Mm-hmm.
All of these things through a life is part of an animal's health and part of our health. But
Mm-hmm.
for an animal that does not have that voice,
Yeah.
um, it's great to be able to test the hearing of a dog or a cat. We've had 25,000 people try that worldwide. And
Wow.
yep, it's very exciting. And then I took 4,000 dogs and cats, all their data,
Mm,
and analyzed it, and again published and peer-reviewed a study
mm,
uh, showing where pet hearing goes at different ages. So
wow.
when you're a pet parent, sometimes we're late to understanding that our dog has shifted,
Mm.
um, either behaviorally, and it may not just be behavior, maybe because they're not hearing so well.
Yeah.
Uh, and so this educates pet parents, and it's also great for veterinarians
Mm,
because they can uh, instantly learn if the dog or cat is actually hearing.
yeah.
So we're going to come out in 2025, late
Hmm.
January, with a pet hearing test app. So it'll be
Okay.
available on any iPhone, any Android,
Wow.
any phone, any
Hmm.
device,
Hmm.
and that's going to be global.
Wow.
So we're really, really excited. I'm excited to make this offering. And also on this app, there will be music tracks so that people will have
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
that.
So it have like a free version, and then like are you going to like charge for it? What will it look like?
Yeah, the pet hearing test for me should always be free
Yeah.
because this is a contribution.
Hmm.
And then you have two tiers where you can get music tracks for dogs and cats. And then the premium, which will have blog advice, many articles.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
can contour your playlist. There'll be much more music on it. And this is something in 2010, I actually came out with a Pet Acoustics app. We
Yeah.
were one of 100,000 for Apple during that time.
Okay.
And but things changed, and but
Hmm.
now I'm happy to come back to that,
Uh-huh.
um, to make that an offering because it's just that's our world. That's
Yeah, yeah,
gonna be a
definitely.
good thing.
And
Gonna
it's
be a
more
good.
easily accessible. I mean, just pick up your phone and then you can just test it out.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah. There's nothing like it. I mean, for veterinarians, they do clicking behind the dog's ear. Or you have to take the pet to a veterinarian that offers this Bayer
Mm.
brainstem um,
Mm.
machine where they put sensors on, and I just think the stress level of taking your pet to find out if they can hear with. I mean, it works and it's great, but it costs money and it's not
Yeah,
convenient.
yeah.
And
Wow.
this is really going to be for everybody.
Wow. Amazing. And it's
Yeah.
not just dogs and cats, but even rabbits and birds benefit from your work, right? So like how did you go about creating music specifically tailored for smaller animals?
Yeah. Well, let me start with birds because uh, my first two pets when I was a kid were two parakeets,
Yeah.
Perky and Spotty. And I love those birds. I
Mm-hmm.
love those birds. And I learned a lot from them. And but a lot of people contacted me with their cockatiels and, all the parrots, and they're so uh, emotionally bonded to their people, but they will leave them. People have to go to work, and they put the parrots in, a cage and leave them in the kitchen or the
Yeah,
room,
yeah, yeah.
and they leave them in silence. When birds are the most musical of all animals and
Mm.
require sound and music or response and call to for health, because that's what they are. They are response and call creatures.
Yeah.
um, and so I said, let me put music together so that there is an embedding music that's calm,
Mm.
but providing kind of a surround sound of different bird calls and nature sounds
Wow.
and, sticks clicking. I mean, I did a lot of research on what it is that birds like. And instilled it into the music so that
Mm.
when they put it in. So I've helped a lot of birds overcome feather picking because when they are alone,
Anxious, yeah.
they get neurotic. They need to modify their stress level, and the
Mm.
music and the sounds that they listen to all day long, they can speak to it, sing to it, have the company of it. And I've helped a lot of birds overcome that
Mm.
stress.
Mm.
The rabbits, aren't they just the cutest little things?
Yeah.
But amazingly, they can hear a sound 1.8 miles away.
Wow.
So vibration for them is very important. That's their
Hmm.
survival. They feel
Hmm.
something in the ground and
Yeah, yeah.
there.
Mm.
So to provide them, so I have varying people that have bought the products that were not able to pick their rabbits up
Hmm.
because the rabbit was in stress, but
Hmm.
having rabbit music um, in their pen, they were able to pick the rabbit up because the see for animals need to, like a rescue dog, for example.
Yeah.
You bring a rescue dog into your home. That rescue dog, from whatever situation, does not know, let's say it's a level of stress from 1 to 10. They
Mm.
know level 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, if they're lucky, 5.
Hmm.
Never get down to that release where that original time when I saw my pets release that muscular tension when they were listening to music. Uh,
Hmm.
that's the goal, is you want to create um, you want to trigger calm.
Hmm.
Yeah, because
Definitely.
I say calm is health. Calm is
Hmm.
health. Yeah.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
well-being is balance.
Mm. And
And
you
that goes for humans too.
yeah, 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 definitely, definitely. And you must have got like wonderful feedback from pet parents. Like, what were some of the most heartwarming responses you have received so far?
That is the greatest pleasure of my business, is to
Mm.
hear from people.
Mhm.
And there are many, many stories. Um, the one dramatic story. Uh, I mean, a lot of pets. I'll start off with some simple things. Um, there was somebody from New York that was traveling to Connecticut, and his cat was so terrified of the car that he went to the vet, and the vet put the cat on Prozac. So every time the person had to leave New York
Yeah,
to Connecticut,
yeah,
the
because
cat's like half out of it. And then it took time for the cat to get this Prozac out of its system, to come back to normal, and hey, medications are great, but I have a lot of veterinarians that recommend Pet Acoustics first before going on to Prozac.
yeah.
So he put the speaker on in the car, and the cat wasn't shaking, wasn't throwing up, and had he was able to carry the cat back and forth without a lot of stress, just because the music was playing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's powerful. I've had a woman called me up, said that her horse had narcolepsy. Her horse would all of a sudden fall dead asleep anywhere, but the horse would hurt himself because he would fall
Mm.
against
Mhm.
an iron gate or a knob in the barn. And she bought Pet Tunes Equine and played it for the horse, and the narcolepsy subsided and the horse was fine, and she was ever so grateful. I
Mhm.
have one customer who I've remained to as friends. Um, she had a dog named Shy, a golden retriever.
Mhm.
Um, and unfortunately, she has multiple sclerosis, and unfortunately, she had taken the dog with her to some kind of parade, and right next to the dog, they did a gun salute.
Oh. Mm.
It so terrified this dog for 6 months.
No
It
God.
it was just not himself. So I developed a collar device called the Ultra Calmer,
Hmm.
and she ordered it and she put it on the dog's neck
Wow.
because she needed the dog as a therapy dog.
Hmm.
And she couldn't believe how much the dog was starting to release. Remember that 1 to 10, trying to get down to that calm level so that she could take her dog with her to church and the dog
Hmm.
could help her go shopping. And, you know, that that's an amazing story to me because not only benefited the dog, but it benefited his person who needed.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I was ever so grateful that she contacted me and told me that story.
Definitely. And
Yeah.
talking more about the practical application in the veterinary care. So like
Yeah.
how can they integrate pet acoustics into their daily practice to make visits more comfortable for pets?
Yeah. So, many veterinarians are very aware of the power of calming music, and
Mm,
um, they come to me to order multiples of the pet tunes to put in each of the exam rooms, so that it's not only great for the dog or cat during the exam, which
mm,
makes veterinary checkups easier, but it's also good for the pet parent to know that their pet is getting the best care. And kind of everybody, you know, it's stressful. As a pet parent myself, if when I walk into the lobby of my veterinary hospital, I'm I'm stressed.
yeah,
The dog
definitely.
is stressed. There are other people there stressed.
Mhm,
The staff is stressed because they're trying to make everything happen
mhm,
smoothly. And a lot of veterinarians use the lobby as the first place to play the music.
mhm.
Makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
Um, we have a new product, which is the Pet Tunes Pro, and this is a light therapy as well as a music therapy.
Okay. Mm,
And this it doesn't show up so well online,
mm,
but they're different colors, and um, dogs respond well to be calmed by the colors blue, and cats prefer the hues of greens and yellow. So
okay.
you can actually adjust this to your cat or your dog or a cattery or a kennel. Yeah,
Wow.
and it's a very loud capacity, so it can fill the sound. You can just put one Pet
Mhm,
Tunes Pro and have it dispersed in a kennel and have it heard
mhm.
by all the dogs.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
And work has been recognized like with several awards, right? So like what does that recognition mean to you personally and professionally? How did it help you to, sell more products or gain more awareness in the market?
The awards, you mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it's to be recognized. Well, I think one of the finest awards I received is from Dr. Marty Becker, who is the founder of Fear Free Pets.
Mm,
And we received awards for the feline music from him, and I'm also a preferred product for Fear Free, and I'm very proud of that because I what Fear Free has done for the pet industry across the board, from pet owners to veterinarians to groomers to trainers, to provide a standard of atmosphere
mm,
and response to behavior to be the kindest and most yeah, to be the kindest and to release fear and stress from animals
mm.
um, in all situations. And so I'm very proud of that. Um, I received Woman of the Year of Influence from Pet. Age
Wow.
magazine,
Mm,
uh, and recently Pet Acoustics received an award for the most advanced technologically for pet behavior for 2024 from Lux Life, which is a
wow.
UK
Mm,
award. So, yeah, each one is joyous and very spurs you on to do more because you know that you're doing good in the world.
definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
I would love to hear more coming on to the more like personal side of thing. I would love to hear more about your day-to-day life. Like, what does your typical day look like as a composer and a sound behaviorist?
Yes. So, my day starts very early,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and I do a lot of business first, a
Yeah.
lot of business.
Mm-hmm.
And then once that's done, um, I'm always looking for, if I'm doing composing,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I'm spending a lot of time working on producing another uh, series of tracks for, let's say, for dogs. And I'll spend a lot of time um, working on not only the composition, but then what I do for proprietary process to make it fit each note. Uh, so I go into each note digitally in terms of frequency and work on that so that the music is perfectly smooth and
Mm-hmm.
will not agitate the
Mm-hmm.
dog's hearing. You know, there's one concept that I wanted to add. Um, what what I work on when I compose is that I'm understanding that sound is a pressure in a dog's ear or an animal's ear, and that air pressure is what triggers behavior. And and it is the most hearing responses to the environment is the most overlooked aspect of animal behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I've dedicated my life to is to bring that education to pet parents and veterinarians.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because we're not looking at the unobvious, we're looking at the obvious all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But air is invisible, but it's very powerful,
Definitely.
as music is.
Mm-hmm. And for
Yeah.
someone who's listening to this podcast, who's aspiring to break into the pet wellness space, it's like, what's the one piece of advice you would give to them?
Believe in what you're offering.
Mm-hmm.
There are no skips of steps to achieve success.
Mm-hmm.
That you do the ups and the downs and the challenges, and you just take your your product like a warrior and you put it into the world
Yeah.
and you march forward and you learn along the way and um, the I think the philosophy really is it's the product is not separate from who you are.
Yeah, it's an extension of your
Yeah,
training and what
yeah. So you're really just using something to grow as a person.
yeah. Yeah.
And if it's a positive, things will happen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And also it's fascinating, like it's a part of you that you are putting into the world, and now the world will judge like is it good or not, how it will impact something. And it's coming from your yeah. Like
Yeah,
mhm.
it's the ripple effect.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
looking ahead, like what new innovations or products are you like more excited about, something in the product lines, and there's something that you want to move forward with?
Yeah, well, I'm very excited about the app because
Mhm.
that's going to reach a lot of
Yeah,
people.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I Yeah,
Mm,
it's just going I'm so looking forward to offering music tracks and making that easy for people to on the go help their pet. Um, the next project I have.
Mm-hmm.
is I'm going to do a scientific research on music for cows.
Wow.
Um, and it's been done
Mm,
uh, a long time ago.
mm,
But I'm going to work with maybe 1,000 cows with music that will be broadcast to them in about five different ranches,
mm,
and um, to see where the milk production will be, because it's all computerized now. So I don't
mm.
have to be there with a pad and paper.
Okay.
It's all computerized, and just by even if it's 5% greater milk production,
Mm,
that that'll be really a great
yeah.
thing. And I think I could help influence in a good way um, the cattle industry.
Mhm. And
I
finally,
don't meat, but uh, I want to care for them better.
okay, definitely, definitely. And finally,
Yeah.
last question from my end, Janet. Like when
Yeah.
when you think about the future, what is your ultimate vision for Pet Acoustics?
I hope that I become further the leader in
Hmm.
the
Uh-huh.
understanding
Yeah.
of frequency-based
Hmm.
sounds
Yeah.
for
I
animals.
think you already are the leader.
Yeah. Oh, wait a second. Yeah, maybe I am.
I mean, do you know somebody else who's doing like specifically what you are doing in the industry?
They try.
Yeah.
They come and they go.
Uh,
I think uh, the next thing for Pet Acoustics
mhm,
is um, how to help modify um, animal facilities. Yeah, that's what I'm
mhm.
very
Yeah.
interested. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Amazing, amazing.
Called vet acoustics.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, that's the wrap for today's episode of Pet Brand Podcast, Janet. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. And
Thank you, Byron.
your insight into sound therapy for pets and the incredible work that you have done with Pet Acoustic are truly inspiring. It's clear that you are making a real difference in the lives of pets around the world, and we can't wait to see what the future of pets holds for you. To all listeners, if you want to learn more about Janet's work, explore Pet Acoustics, amazing products, be sure to check out the links in the show notes. I will leave all the links in the description below. And Janet, thank you so much once again. Thank you so much
You. It
for
was
your
a pleasure.
time.
A pleasure.
Yep. 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 So yeah.
Okay.